Timothy D. Betterly,
Carolyn Mayer Bug,
Edward Frank B.A.,
Paul Michael Bear,
Anil Tahilram Bharvani,
Bella J. Buchan,
Shimi D. Beagleisen,
Peter Alexander Bielfeld,
William G. Biggert,
Brian Eugene Bilcher,
Mark Bingham,
Carl Vincent Beanie,
and my uncle, firefighter Joseph Patrick Henry from Ladder Company 21. I wish I had the chance to meet you, Uncle Joey. I heard you were a great person.
and my husband, Thomas Michael Kelly. We love you and we miss you.
Gary Eugene Bird,
Joshua David Birnbaum,
George John Bishop,
Chris Romeo Bishuntat,
Jeffrey Donald Bittner,
Albert Baliwa Blackman Jr.,
Christopher Joseph Blackwell,
Carrie Rosetta Blackburn,
Susan Leigh Blair,
Harry Blanding Jr.,
Janice Lee Blaney,
Craig Michael Blass,
Rita Blau,
Richard Middleton Blood Jr.,
Michael Andrew Bacardi,
John Paul Bacci,
Michael L. Bocchino,
Susan N. Bocchino,
Dara Francis Bodley,
Bruce Douglas Bohm,
Mary Catherine Murphy Bofa,
Nicholas Andrew Bogdan,
Darren Christopher Bohan,
Lawrence Francis Bousseau,
Vincent M. Boland Jr.,
Tori Hamzavi Balorchi,
Alan Bondarenko,
Andre Bonhair Jr.,
Colin Arthur Bonet,
Frank J. Bonomo,
Yvonne Lucia Bonamo,
Sean Booker Sr.,
Kelly Ann Booms,
Canfield D. Boone,
Mary Jane Booth,
Sherry Ann Bordeaux,
Christine Bornanabe,
Jerry J. Borg,
Martin Michael Borchevsky,
Richard Edward Bosco,
and my father, Thomas J. Fisher. We love you and miss you.
and my brother and friend, James Marcel Cartier. In remembrance, American Brotherhood MC remembers Lester V. Marino, Kenneth T. Watson, Tommy Ashton, and all the other lives taken away too early.
Klaus Botha,
Carol Marie Bouchard,
J. Howard Bolton,
Francisco Eligio Bordier,
Thomas Harold Bowden Jr.,
Donna M. Bowen,
Kimberly S. Bowers,
Veronique Nicole Bowers,
Larry Bowman,
Sean Edward Bauman, Jr.,
Kevin L. Bowser,
Gary R. Box,
Gennady Boyarsky,
Pamela Boyce,
Alan P. Boyle,
Michael Boyle,
Alfred J. Braca,
Sandra Canati Grace,
Kevin Hugh Bracken,
Sandy Waugh Bradshaw,
David Brian Brady,
Alexander Berginski,
Nicholas W. Brandenmark,
Daniel Raymond Grandhorse,
David Reed Gamboa Bradhorst,
Michelle Renee Gratton,
Patrice Sprout,
Lydia Estelle Bravo,
Ronald Michael
Michael E. Brennan,
Peter Brennan,
Thomas Moore Brennan,
Daniel J. Russell,
Gary Lee Wright,
Jonathan Eric Riley,
Mark A. Rissman,
Paul Gary Bristow,
Marion R. Britton,
and my grandfather, Cesar Amaranto Alviar. We love you so much. Thank you for watching over us. We miss you. And please convince Mommy to get us a husky someday. Love you.
and my father, Jason Matthew Coffey, and my grandfather, Daniel Michael Coffey. Even though I never got the chance to meet either of you, I know there are two angels in heaven watching over me and our family. We all love you so much.
Mark Francis Broderick,
Herman Charles Broghammer,
Keith A. Broomfield,
Bernard C. Brown II,
Janice J. Louise Brown,
Lloyd Stanford Brown,
Patrick John Brown,
Patina B. Brown Rayburn,
Mark Bruce,
Richard George Bruhert,
Andrew Brunn,
Vincent Edward Brunton,
Ronald Booka,
Brandon J. Buchanan,
Greg J. Buck,
Dennis Buckley,
Nancy Claire Boishet,
Patrick Joseph Booth,
John Edward Bulaga Jr.,
Stephen Bruce Boonen,
Christopher L. Burford,
Matthew J. Burke,
Thomas Daniel Burke,
William Francis Burke Jr.,
Charles F. Burlingame III,
Thomas E. Burnett Jr.,
Donald J. Burns,
Kathleen Ann Burns,
Keith James Burns,
John Patrick Burnside,
Irina Buslow,
Milton G. Bustillo,
Thomas M. Butler,
Patrick Dennis Byrne,
Timothy G. Byrne,
Daniel M. Caballero,
Jesus Neptali Cabezas,
Lillian Caceres,
Brian Joseph Cachia,
Stephen Dennis Cafiero Jr.,
and my father, Michael Angel Trinidad.
and my
We love you. We miss you. There's so many events that I wish you were a part of, like my wedding or Timmy making you a grandfather. We hope that you're proud of us. And please look after me and the rest of the family.
and my father, Philip David Miller. We love and miss you. You'll always be in our hearts. I wish you were here to see your three beautiful grandchildren grow up. But in my heart, I know that you're watching over us.
Richard Michael Caggiano,
Cecile Maria Cagicola,
John Brett Cahill,
Michael John Cahill,
George C. Kane,
Thomas Joseph Cahill,
Joseph M. Calandrillo,
Salvatore B. Calabro,
Edward Calderon,
Philip V. Calcano,
Kenneth Marcus Caldwell,
Jose O. Caldron Olmedo,
Felix Bobby Caliste,
Dominic E. Calia,
Liam Callahan,
Francis Joseph Callahan,
Gino Luigi Calvi,
Suzanne M. Cali,
Michael F. Camarata,
Rocco Camaj,
Jeffrey Thomas Campbell,
David Odie Campbell,
Sandra Patricia Campbell,
Robert Arthur Campbell,
John A. Candela,
Sheen Thomas Canavan,
Stephen J. Cangelosi,
Vincent A. Cangelosi,
Brian Canizaro,
Lisa Bella Canava,
Louis Anthony Caparici,
Michael R. Canty,
James Christopher Cappers,
Jonathan Neff Capello,
Jose Manuel Cardona,
Richard Michael Caproni,
Edward Carlino,
Dennis M. Carey Sr.,
and my big brother. We love and miss you every day. You will never be forgotten. Robert David Peraza.
and my uncle Gary Shemai. I love you and wish you were here. My siblings and I will be a beacon of your memory for many years to come.
David G. Carlone.
Rosemary C. Carlson.
Mark Stephen Carney.
Joyce Ann Carpenetto.
Jeremy Kaz Carrington.
Michael T. Carroll.
Peter J. Carroll.
James Joseph Carson Jr.
Christopher Mikhail Kartzingen.
Angeline C. Carter.
James Marcel Cartier.
Sharon Ann Carver.
Vivian Kasoldik.
John Francis Casaza.
Paul Regan Cassio.
Neely Ann Heffernan Casey.
William Joseph Cashman.
Thomas Anthony Casoria.
William Otto Casper.
Alejandro Castaño.
Arcelia Castillo.
Leonard M. Castriano.
Jose Ramon Castro.
William E. Caswell.
Richard G. Cattarelli.
Christopher Sean Caton.
Robert John Caulfield.
Mary Teresa Caulfield.
Judson Cavalier.
Michael Joseph Colley.
Jason David Kane.
Juan Armando Ceballos.
Marcia G. Cecil Carter.
Jason Michael Cefalu.
Thomas Joseph Selleck.
Anna Mercedes Centeno.
Joni Sesta.
John J. Chada.
Jeffrey Mark Chernoff.
Swarna Chalasani.
And my uncle Robert G. McIlvain. Although I wasn't lucky enough to have met you, your spirit lives on in myself, my brother and sisters, and all those who loved you. I am honored to carry your name, and I am living proof that life loves on.
And my father, Daniel R. Nolan.
William A. Chalkoff.
Eli Chalou.
Charles Lawrence Chan.
Mandy Chang.
Rosa Maria Chapa.
Mark Lawrence Charette.
David M. Charlebois.
Gregorio Manuel Chavez.
Pedro Francisco Checo.
Douglas Macmillan Cherry.
Stephen Patrick Cherry.
Vernon Paul Cherry.
Nestor Julio Chevalier Jr.
Swede Joseph Chevalier.
Alexander H. Chiang.
Dorothy J. Chicharo.
Luis Alfonso Chimbo.
Robert Chin.
Eddie Wingwei Ching.
Nicholas Paul Chiofalo.
John G. Tripura.
Peter A. Churchirillo.
Catherine Ellen Chirles.
Kayung Hee Casey Cho.
Abdul K. Chowdhury.
Mohammed Salahuddin Chowdhury.
Kirsten Lael Christoph.
Pamela Chu,
Stephen Paul Chutnick,
Wei Ching Chung,
Christopher Ciaffredini,
Alex F. Saccone,
Francis Ann Salenti,
Elaine Silo,
Edna Cintron,
Nestor Andre Cintron III,
Robert D. Siri Sr.,
Juan Pablo Cisneros,
Benjamin Keith Clark,
Eugene Clark,
and my husband, Dennis Michael Edwards. As I stand here today, the only thing I can say for certain is that despite the tremendous pain and heartache of losing you, time did not stand still for 1 second over the past 20 years. The best part of those 20 years was having our daughter, Alexa, by my side. Our then 2-year-old baby is now a grown woman and graduate of UNC Chapel Hill. Alexa is your legacy here on earth. She embodies all the good in you. Her green eyes, dimpled chin, kind heart, love of music, passion for people, willingness to help others, and enthusiastic love for life remind me of you each and every day. She even tilts her head and scratches the head the way you do, and she never even saw you do it. You missed every single milestone in her life over the past 2 decades, but we continue to move forward with only love in our hearts. Our family and friends continue to keep your memory alive, and with endless stories and reemergence of old pictures. You always carried the good torch, shining brightly wherever you went, and Alexa will carry it for you too. Thank you for the greatest gift I've ever received from anyone. For as long as we live, people will know your name and honor your memory. We love you, Den, and we love you, Alexa Marie.
and my uncle, firefighter Peter Alexander Bielfeld. We love you and we miss you, Uncle Peter. Thank you for being my godfather, and thank you for protecting this country.
Gregory Allen Clark,
Manny Leroy Clark,
Sarah M. Clark,
Thomas R. Clark,
Christopher Robert Clark,
Donna Marie Clark,
Michael J. Clark,
Saria Rachel Emma Clark,
Kevin Francis Cleary,
James D. Clear,
Jeffrey W. Cloud,
Susan Marie Klein,
Stephen Coakley,
Jeffrey Allen Cole,
Patricia A. Cody,
Daniel Michael Coffey,
Jason Matthew Coffey,
Florence G. Cohen,
Kevin S. Cohen,
Anthony Joseph Coladonato,
Mark Joseph Kaleo,
Stephen J. Kaleo,
Christopher Michael Colasanti,
Kevin Nathaniel Colbert,
Michelle P. Colbert,
Keith E. Coleman,
Scott Thomas Coleman,
Robert D. Colon,
Liam Joseph Calhoun,
Robert D. Jean Marie Collin,
Robert J. Call,
Joseph Kent Collison,
John Michael Collins,
Patricia Malia Kolodner,
Thomas Joseph Collins,
Sol E. Cohen.
Jeffrey Dwayne Coleman,
I'm done.
and my uncle Brian Christopher Novotny, whose tie I am wearing today proudly.
And my aunts, Maria Teresa Concepcion Santillan and Judy Santillan Fernandez. Tita Maritas, from the pictures and stories I've heard and seen, I know how beautiful you were. After 20 years, you are now reunited with Lola and Lolo, who passed away last year. Please be our guardian angel. We will never forget, and we will always remember you. God bless America.
Ronald Edward Comer,
Jamie Concepcion,
Albert Conte,
Denise Connolly,
Susan P. Conlon,
Margaret Mary Connor,
Cynthia Marie Lice Connolly,
John E. Connolly Jr.,
James Lee Connor,
Jonathan M. Connors,
Kevin Patrick Connors,
Kevin F. Conroy,
Brenda E. Conway,
Dennis Michael Cook,
Helen D. Cook,
Jeffrey W. Coombs,
John A. Cooper,
Julian T. Cooper,
Joseph John Copo Jr.,
Gerard J. Coppola,
Joseph Albert Corpet,
John J. Corcoran III,
Alejandro Cordero,
Robert Joseph Cordis,
Ruben D. Correa,
Danny A. Correa Gutierrez,
Georgian Rose Corrigan,
James J. Corrigan,
Carlos Cortez Rodriguez,
Kevin Michael Cosgrove,
Dolores Marie Costa,
Digna Alexandra Costanza,
Charles Gregory Costello Jr.,
Michael S. Costello,
Asia S. Cottom,
Conrad Kofi Couture Sr.,
Martin John Coughlin,
John G. Coughlin,
Timothy J. Coughlin,
James E. Cove,
and my aunt, Anna Mercedes Centeno. We miss you, we love you, and you've been an inspiration to our lives, especially in my life. And I see more Grandma, your face and Grandma's face, especially throughout the years. Your smile will always stay in us, and you will forever live in us. We miss you and love you.
and my sister-in-law, Colleen Ann DeLockery. Col, can't believe it's been 20 years. Your children, Amanda and Michael, are living your legacy. They are walking in your footsteps and making a difference in this world. Your amazing husband, Jay, has been with them every step of the way these past 20 years. And we talk about you all the time in our all events when we're all together as family. We remember you all the time, and we love and miss you. Thank you for watching over us.
Andre Colin Cox,
Frederick John Cox,
James Raymond Coyle,
Michelle Coyle Yulo,
Christopher Seaton Kramer,
Eric A. Cranford,
Denise Elizabeth Krant,
James Leslie Crawford Jr.,
Robert James Crawford,
Tara Kathleen Creamer,
Joanne Mary Cregan,
Lucia Crefasi,
John A. Creasy,
Daniel Hal Chrisman,
Dennis A. Cross,
Kevin R. Carodi,
Thomas G. Crotty,
John R. Crow,
Wells Remy Crowther,
Robert L. Cruikshank,
John Robert Cruz,
Grace Allegre Kua,
Kenneth John Kubas,
Francisco Cruz Cubero,
Thelma Cuccinello,
Richard Joseph Cudina,
Neil James Cudmore,
Thomas Patrick Cullen III,
Joan Cullinan,
Joyce Rose Cummings,
Brian Thomas Cummins,
Michael Joseph Cunningham,
Robert Curatolo,
Lawrence Damian Curia,
Paul Dario Curioli,
Patrick Joseph Curryvan,
Beverly L. Curry,
Andrew Peter Charles Curry Green,
Michael Sean Curtin,
Patricia Cushning,
and my mother, Barbara Keating, a passenger on American Airlines Flight 11. She devoted much of her life to serving marginalized communities such as those with physical and intellectual disabilities. She was the director of a Big Brother, Big Sister chapter in Massachusetts. And after surviving cancer twice, she spent her golden years driving cancer patients to their medical appointments and volunteered daily in her church in Palm Springs, Mom, the world was a better place with you in it, and you're still missed after 20 years by your children and your grandchildren, of whom you'd be very proud.
And my father, Robert D.W. Higley II. Dad, it has been 20 years since you've been gone, and there's nothing I can say more than I miss goofing off with you. I miss your jokes, and nothing more makes me smile than the light I see in the smile of my daughter, who reminds me so much of you. We love and miss you, and I still wish you could be here to see how amazing and proud we're making you to be.
Gavin Kushney,
Caleb Aaron Dack,
Carlos S. DaCosta,
Jason M. Dahl,
Brian Paul Dale,
John Dallara,
Vincent Gerard